Many hellos. You're tuned in to the Rewind Guys podcast, the show where we watch, discuss, and rate old movies, new movies, movies that defined our childhood, and others we've never seen or even heard of before. This week, it's all about babes and getting good grades, because we're discussing the movie Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So stop staring at Bill's mom, climb in the telephone booth, and don't forget to wind your watch, because the show is about to begin.
Quite a good scene, isn't it? One man crazy, three very sane spectators.
Welcome back to the Rewind Guys podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Andrews, joined by Mike Andrus.
What's up?
Russell Andrews. And Isaiah Page.
Welcome.
This week, we're talking about an action comedy called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. This is rated PG, filmed in the U.S. and Italy, released February 17th, 1989, and has a runtime of 1 hour and 30 minutes. This movie had a budget of around $10 million and made $40.5 million in the box office.
I can see that.
This movie stars Keanu Reeves as Ted Theodore Logan.
It's your mom, dude.
Alex Winter as Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Shut up, Ted!
And George Carlin as Rufus.
Amigos, time to depart.
This movie was directed by Stephen Herrick. Will whomever picked this movie please tell us a little bit more about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Well, according to Amazon, this is about two airhead buddies that are on the brink of failing their history course, but are given the opportunity to travel through time to meet Socrates, Abraham Lincoln, Joan of Arc, Napoleon, and Beethoven.
Russell, why did you pick Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
You wish you didn't.
I heard the third one's coming out, and the preview looked funny, so I was like, oh, well, I should watch the first ones first. Because it seemed to make sense until I watched the first one, and now it doesn't make any sense.
Okay. I want to note, I am, oh my God, no! I didn't turn those lights on.
Oh.
Well, go turn them on now.
I thought you were bitching about the fly. I didn't
No!
think
The way you looked up, I thought there was
Son
a
of a
fly
bitch,
again.
now I am so tempted to just restart this shit.
Mike, get up,
Just
turn the
let
lights
the-
on.
All right.
Turn
Technical
them on.
difficulties.
It's
Fine. You know what? We'll keep all this in. Turn the lights on. Yeah, it gets bright. It gets bright. We are going for some quality imagery, and we need this.
Fucking spots.
Good. Good. Okay. Now we are.
Okay, so now it's
okay.
hard to look at the camera.
Now we're back on track. Okay, I am
Really,
sorry.
though?
You know what? Technical difficulties. Okay. I just want to say, depending on who listens and or watches this episode, I am going to create some haters because I want to note right now that this movie was written by Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, and I give them fucking props because writing a time travel movie is already or story of any sort is extremely difficult. And they did an awesome job. I fucking think, my hat's off to them. In fact, and this is where I think I'm going to stir up some controversy. This is where I think I'm going to stir up some controversy because I'm going to throw this out there. I think they wrote this better than Back to the Future. Crickets, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we're talking about how it's quality time travel.
It's just kind of butts.
No.
They really just...
Oh, no. This is good.
It's like...
They did some things I'm so glad they did, and we will get into it, but I'm just like, thank you, fucking finally.
It's been a while since I've seen Back to the Future, so I feel like I had to go back and watch it so I can actually accurately judge what this comment,
not seen
this
Back to the Future since I
backhanded
was a kid.
comment.
I don't think they did better.
No. Oh, they did so. Okay, here's the thing. At some point, I will pick Back to the Future because I don't want to bring up why I think they did better. And arguably, you could say the same thing to this movie, but the difference being, and I'm just going to throw this out there, whether it makes sense or not, that given the span of time traveled, the gripe I have is more hidden and camouflaged in this movie than Back to the Future. But I just think they did it better. Just know that. If anybody wants to contest this, I don't give a shit. I think they did it better.
Well, I really want to know your gripe.
Well, you'll have to wait till somebody or myself picks Back to the Future.
I hated that they made everyone from the past fucking stupid.
Well, yeah, that was funny. I mean, it was they
They made everybody from the past stupid.
yeah.
Well, Sigmund Freud wasn't stupid, per
Dude got his
se.
Yeah, he
face
was
stuck in
pretty
a vacuum.
stupid.
Huh?
Dude got his face stuck in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed that part.
Okay,
I looked it up.
And-
he was around when vacuums were invented. He should have fucking known how to use them.
Poor Socrates was just like
Socrates.
Socrates. Poor Socrates was just like he was like an infant. He was just like
Yeah, and basically it's like, oh, you don't speak English. You have the intelligence of a gnat.
okay,
if you're not American, then you're just dumb. And then poor Napoleon, this dude, it's just like, well,
ice
he's
cream at the water slides and hates bowling.
there's a myth that he's short, which is actually not true. And
you.
what?
Thank you.
Yeah, he was actually pretty average size at the time for
He was
person.
5'6". I looked that up too.
Maybe just everybody around.
oh man,
him
that's
was
like
tall.
I think like an inch taller than me.
At
Just
the
an
time,
inch.
that was normal height.
Yeah.
And the reason there's a myth that he's short is because they measured differently. So technically, at the time, he was measured as 5'2".
Interesting.
And yeah, they just make him like this tiny little child, and he's angry, and it's like I don't know.
Just throws
He was good,
tantrums.
though.
I also
I
think
liked
it's-
him, though.
Yeah, he was pretty funny. I also think it's funny that they do not subtitle anything that he says until he says shit. They subtitle shit, but nothing else.
I didn't catch that.
Because they need you to know that he's swearing.
Okay, I just kind of brushed off their stupidity, I guess. I didn't see it as stupidity. I seen it as they're in modern times and they're just fucking like blown away and don't know what's going on. That's the way I took it. That is the way I took it.
They were dumb in their own times too.
Yeah, no,
They were in their own times for like 2 seconds.
They were just dumb.
And
Must be dumb.
Socrates wasn't dumb. He was talking about sand through the
Philosophy.
fingers and shit.
Well, yeah, but it was like anything outside of
Like,
like their-
sand in the hourglass.
Yeah, I
Those are
love
the
that.
days of our
So
lives.
good. So good, man.
is.
it's like they're showing you the historical part of the person is smart, but anything outside of what was written down, they're just a complete idiot. You know?
I
Like
guess.
Socrates, his philosophy is great, but every other aspect of his life, he's just a complete moron.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that. I
Okay,
can see that.
let's stir the pot a little bit more. Us a little bit more.
Okay.
I am throwing this out there, and I will stand by this. Alex Winter, better actor than Keanu Reeves.
Yes, but basically everybody in this movie was just garbage.
I don't know, man. No. I argue that considering the characters, I'm not saying the acting was like fantastic or award winning, but what I am saying is considering the characters they had to play, Alex Winter did a much better job.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, like-
and his mom in the movie was super hot.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with that. And then
Shut up.
Dude, that running gag was, I loved it. That was awesome. So good.
Sounds pretty cute, though.
But yeah, no, I'm watching this, and the thing is, like, I feel that Keanu Reeves, I'm not bashing his acting at all, by the way.
Yeah.
I like Keanu Reeves. He's a great actor. But in this movie...
You just didn't care for his part.
No, it's weird, though, because I feel like he had kind of one... Well, I'll give him two tones. He's either, like, really, really happy or just, like, thinking for a second. But, like, Bill's character, he had all different kinds of emotions. He seemed like he had a much better range in the movie. I just liked him better. I think he did a better job.
I don't know if that comes down to better acting or just his character actually had lines.
I was gonna say, I feel like the way they were written, at least Alex Winter's part as Bill, he was technically the slightly smarter of the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Pay attention because it just seems like, to a degree, Ted was more of the sidekick than Bill was. Either that or Bill was just a smart sidekick.
Yeah, I
Can I
guess.
say,
So it's like the Tails to Sonic.
Right. All right.
I'm excited to see an old ass Keanu play this character.
Right?
Oh my god. Yeah. I've already talked about he looks fucking weird without facial hair.
He
Yeah,
looks
he
like a
does.
baby.
He's
so young in this movie.
That is
like
a very
He got some baby
awful
face.
looking baby.
I kind of want to see him
put it
buff
back.
I want to see him buff as fuck in that with that jail. I just want to see it. It just looks stupidly hilarious.
Okay, so I wanna kind of start this movie because here's the thing. I thought I'd seen Bill and Ted before. Apparently, I have not.
Okay, so
It's
I've
been
seen.
forever since I've seen it.
This is just like House. I've seen one scene. I never knew what it was from, and I'm happy that I now know it.
Interesting. Well, because like none of this was ringing any
I
bells.
now need to know what scene, sir.
Except for the mall scene later on. That I'm watching, like, oh man, I know this, but like the rest of the movie, nothing, not a thing.
The only scene I had seen
And
was
remember,
Napoleon bowling. And I never knew what the context was for Napoleon bowling with a bunch of kids and cheating and being super angry. And I'm so
man.
glad to have like the answers to that now.
it's like I like how he nonchalantly does it, but yet it's on a fucking projector screen. It's like, so they're gonna see him doing it. I'm just like, dude, you can't get away with that. There's no fucking way.
Oh man. Oh, okay. So when this movie opens up and we get that super rad music, which by the way, I again, 80s movie, and I didn't realize it was an 80s movie, so I give you props for picking an 80s movie. I fucking love 80s movies. But when this opened up and we get this really weird 80s music and this like
That was
descending
strange.
weird diamond thing.
It looked like a ring pop.
Oh my! It did. It did. Yes. And I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my god. And then George Carlin comes in. And I forgot he was in here.
Yeah, I was so
Right?
surprised. I'm like,
That
I love
was
George
awesome.
Carlin.
Yes, that was so cool. But yeah, I forgot he was in here. And then he's like talking to the camera. I guess pretty much what we're watching ultimately is like a narration. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so he starts it, and I'll tell you what, if I had to base the rest of this movie on that, I'm like, oof, this is not going to be good. And I was not going in it with very high expectations.
Which is good.
Yeah, because here's the problem I have, is we all know, I'd like to think, at least everybody in this room at this point, I do not like child actors, right? Okay, that being said, there's
You have
one
a
thing.
penchant for hating on children.
My
Patrick.
God, I
Come
really
on.
do. But there's one thing. There's one thing I hate more than child actors, and that is anybody who portrays and does that stupid ass stereotypical surfer voice. You know, like when you're gonna go to the beach. Hate it. Hate it.
You made me experience high tide.
Yes. No, I do not like. There's only one character that has ever gotten a pass for that, and that's Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That is it. I do not like the whole stereotypical surfer dialect, so I am already annoyed going into this movie. Already
Poor
annoyed.
Patrick.
But anyway, okay. Don't let that reflect my rating.
Oh, I'm going to.
Okay, so the movie does open up, and first, here's the thing I want to know: they're practicing in their garage before school.
And they sound like shit.
How early is this? Where
Yeah.
they're just fucking wailing on their guitars and shit.
Well, first off, also like how early are they up? I remember getting up before school. Like I'd have an hour at most of just. I had no time to do anything before school.
No, you wake up, you shit, shower, eat, leave.
Yeah,
Man, you know what it is? You want to know why? It's because of the Wild Stallions.
No.
No, dude, what did you guys think of Bill's shirt? Awesome. The like
crop
the
top?
crop top with the
Oh.
dragon looking stallion on the
God,
back.
that was
oh,
so awful.
dude,
I mean,
so
yeah, it's
good.
pretty cool.
It's
That
I want
was
that shirt,
funny.
man. I want that
I
shirt.
guess I
so
didn't really
bad.
notice too much. I was like,
What?
whatever.
That's like the best part of the movie.
Is it?
No, it's not.
No,
Actually.
I thought I actually loved the little guitar noises they would randomly do.
Yes.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so
I do that sometimes.
shortly after this, they go to school, and this is what really
Edit in
pretty
some guitar
much
sounds.
this sets this whole next scene sets the plot pretty much, where they're failing history, and
Yeah.
if they fail, they flunk school.
Apparently, they're good at everything else by history.
I don't know.
I don't know. They don't ever talk about it. It's like, apparently, they pass everything else for some reason.
I guess.
And I just love when movies get like 25-year-olds to play 15-year-olds.
Yes.
And you can see like the 5 o'clock shadow under the makeup.
I will say, in this
Everyone
movie,
in that classroom looked so fucking old.
I know.
in this movie, it's not so bad. I have seen some 80s films where it's just like, oof, what the hell, dude? Like, so they're failing, and yeah, they have to pass. If they don't get an A+, they're done. And of course, the consequences, I don't think there's any for Bill, but the consequences for Ted is he's going to... Russell, where's he going to? You remember?
Military
yeah,
school
in-
in Alaska.
Yes, in
Oak Ridge,
Alaska.
I think. Oak Ridge Military School.
No, Oats.
Oh.
Oats. Oats. I thought it was funny. I don't know why it's Oats, but I'm pretty sure it's Oats. I hope I'm,
think so.
I hope
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
wrong.
that sounds right.
I hope I'm not wrong. But yeah, and then slightly, we just cut a little bit forward, and we're at they're studying hardcore now because they want to pass.
Yeah.
And this, oh my God, the whole, like, when he's calling his mom Missy, and mom is, that whole running joke this movie is hilarious.
Yeah,
So
because
good.
she was
I actually didn't think that was that funny.
She was
I mean, like,
Oh, what?
she was a senior when they were a sophomore.
Yes.
yeah, apparently, what was it? Ted asked her to prom.
Yeah.
Yes. Shut up, Ted. Dude, it's so good. That is a hilarious joke.
Gotta keep it excellent between us.
No, like,
It's your mom, dude.
the Missy mom thing, I didn't think it was that funny.
No,
the rest
dude.
of it was funny.
Oh no, that whole, like, everything about that was just so good. Like when she's bringing like sandwiches when they're studying, she's bending over.
burnt as shit.
Yeah, I know. And they're like, and he's like staring down her shirt.
And
It's
then
your
the-
mom, dude.
The dad comes in and he's like, "You guys gotta get out of here."
Oh my God,
Give
what
him
the
some
fuck?
money. Here, have some money. Go take a break.
That is so weird.
That was my favorite scene.
In
because
your bedroom, man.
I know. I thought that was so weird.
It was just funny
I'd
because
be
like
pissed if my parents did that in my bedroom.
Is that an 80s thing?
Bill actually seemed mad going down the stairs, and he's yelling at him to shut up. And Keanu's face looked like he for a second looked like he was like, maybe I should. Then just clicked back to the happy face and just laughed at him like,
Shit-eating grin.
yeah, it's like
so
that's
good.
like, I mean that's the thing. His character only had those emotions. It was either
yes.
just confusion or just shit-eating grin.
Yeah, blissfully happy. Yes, that's
Like-
what I'm saying. And I guess unless that was legitly supposed to be his character, I guess. But yeah, he only had those two like speeds, man.
Well,
that was
I mean,
it.
to be fair, this was like one of his earlier movies. He got better with time.
yeah.
Oh, so like you're telling me in the third one he's gonna be killing everybody?
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's like dodging bullets and just fucking everyone up.
And okay, when you see Keanu Reeves in this movie, it's like, But you see Keanu Reeves now, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, he was like,
He became John Wick.
he had to grow into his sex appeal.
Now he's distinguished, attractive.
Looking at young Keanu Reeves, you think, wow, this guy's
Dude, what's that,
just fucked.
I'm trying to think of that one actor who looks like he's been old forever. But it seems
Patrick
like
Stewart.
Oh yeah, actually he's kind of one too.
from Tombstone. Fucking
Sam Elliott.
I think so.
That's the only one I can think of. That it's always looked the same age his
He's
entire
looked the
life.
same. Yeah, he's looked the same age his entire fucking
No,
life.
wait, no.
'Cause
Tommy
he's-
Lee Jones, I think, kind of the same way. There's a few of them, man.
Roughly.
I love when they go from here to the Circle K, where not only are they hanging out, but they're asking random people all these history questions. Oh, it's pretty good. And, oh, dude, love this scene. Love the scene because this is where George Carlin shows up, Rufus, and he's like, you guys don't know crap about history. Get in here. I'm going to take you places and all this stuff.
Gotta make sure you pass.
Right. And this is when technically their future selves come back. This tie-in is really good.
Well, it's not.
No, it's
not
pretty good.
because
It's pretty good.
Now, obviously, it's a
What's
comedy
wrong with it?
movie.
Yes.
It's a comedy movie.
Right.
But if you look at this, it doesn't make any sense because why is Rufus there?
Because he started it all?
Because he's
Why?
there to make sure they pass
Because,
their
yeah,
exam.
he was there.
Because the wild
He didn't do
standards have
shit.
to exist.
No, Rufus? He said it all. He's the one who gave him the fucking phone booth.
But why? Well,
Because if he didn't go back in time, things would not have worked out the way they did.
Exactly.
but follow me here.
I'll
Follow me
try.
here.
I'll try.
He would not have known that things wouldn't have turned out the way they did because he never would have went back in time to make them the way that they were. Look at it this way.
Man, arguing time travel is very
He's-
difficult.
He's in the future, right?
Didn't
Right.
seem to matter,
So
lived, I
if it
repeat.
never happened, which is where it was going in history,
No, wait.
he never would have had the reason
got
to
it,
go
dude.
back.
Now-
Wait.
got it.
What if it was supposed to happen that they were supposed to fail and he was supposed to go back to set the motions or set the events in motion for them to pass? So it's just like it was a looping thing for him.
But, okay, let's look at it this way.
wait,
Let's look at it this way. I forget my notebook.
Yes.
So, future me comes back in time to remind me because future me knows I forgot it.
Right.
But now that I've reminded myself, I don't have to remind myself because I didn't
Yes.
forget it this time.
No, I got it.
So that
dude.
means I never in the future came back to the past. But then I would have had to because I would have forgotten it. And
They
it loops
mentioned
forever.
this later in the movie.
What?
They do?
Yeah.
one
Literally,
part.
they're like, oh, we can't forget to do this after the exam to come back and put
Oh,
he's
yeah.
here.
And
So
the
like,
stuff's
they
there.
kind of they're like they just have to remember to do it.
I want to talk about that because that is my favorite scene of the whole movie.
I actually kind of lowered my rating of the movie.
Yeah, because
Really?
Because the keys would have never been there and also always would have been there. So which one is it?
But they were there, so they were technically always there.
Keys didn't bother me. The other
The
stuff
keys
did.
didn't
No,
bother me.
no. Okay, first of all, I just want to say
I know
this
it's a
is
comedy.
this is bullshit because this is like live, die, repeat. So it fucking works. Secondly,
No, it actually doesn't.
Secondly,
No.
yes, it
Logic,
does.
doesn't.
Here's the deal. Okay, we'll get to it. Wait, I don't want to talk about
This
this yet.
doesn't make sense.
We will talk about it when we get to the scene because it can be
hungry,
explained.
guys.
I'm gonna complain.
You made Dad angry, guys.
All I'm trying to say here is, maybe, because you don't know future events and how they unfold, let's say everything was falling into place, the fucking planets were aligning and harmony was coming together, and they're like, oh shit, they didn't pass history. Boom, everything explodes. And you know whatever. There's no longer harmony. Everybody hates one another because, it's like getting a job
so
when
what
they
you're
think you have a
saying is-
degree and they find out otherwise.
So what you're saying is then they go back in time to fix that.
Yes.
But if they went back in time to fix it, that explosion would have never happened.
Right.
So they never would have had any reason to go back in time to fix it. So they wouldn't have.
Oh, yep, I get what he's saying. This
no.
movie's fucked.
It would make no
It
sense.
does- no, technically, time-wise, this doesn't need to be shown because you're right, but it's being shown to explain how it all fit together. Because yes, if they corrected it, first of all, time paradoxes with time movies, there has to be a suspension of disbelief because it is a paradox. You can't do it.
Yeah, it's impossible.
It is impossible. But I'm just saying, yes, it's not flawless, obviously, because that's why time travel is not fucking possible. But I am saying they still did it better than Back to the Future.
I want to point out he was on the exact opposite side of this fence when it came to live, die, repeat. I mean, you have flip-flopped hardcore, sir.
Yeah. Well, okay, whoa. There were so many more tedious things that he had to do on the date. Fuck this. This is getting carried away.
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
We're
So
moving
we've
on.
discovered we got to pick more time travel movies because they drive you insane.
Yes, they do. Okay, so it doesn't matter. All
No,
right.
it is fun. It is a fun movie. I like the time travel. It is fun. But obviously, if it was a serious movie, I would hate that. It's a funny movie and it doesn't make any sense.
I don't think that it just necessarily drives Patrick insane. Just them two are going to argue about it.
Yeah.
Great content.
Every time travel movie has its issues because if you really examine it, you can pick it apart. You just can. But anyway, let's move on because as Rufus takes him back in time, which I'm sure he did on purpose to set the wheels in motion because he knows what's going to happen. When they come back from where did they go the first time?
France.
They went to France.
That's how Napoleon came in.
Yes, because it wasn't intended. They didn't purposely bring him. He kind of just fell through the wormhole due to an explosion.
Yeah.
And
And
then
he got blown into it, and then all of a sudden it's just whoop.
yeah, and so they convince his brother to keep an eye on Napoleon because they're like, hey, we just need to go get more. We need more historical figures because this is what's going to save our ass. This is what's going to get us the A+. We need to do this. So they
doing
can.
an actual report. It's like, hey, let's bring people back through time. Let's fuck this shit up.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, what's the brother's name? Dirk, Dominic. I think it starts with a D. No one.
Is it Dirk?
I don't fucking know. I don't think it's Dirk.
Deek?
Deacon. I think it's Deacon.
A
I
beacon
was
for
gonna say
Deacon.
Declan.
What?
I was gonna say Declan, but I know that's not right.
Declan.
Deacon.
I
Okay.
just read a book with the character named that, so like that was the
You know,
first thing that popped in my head.
Icon.
Not a
Radish?
horrible name, but it's kind of funny.
Okay, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so they convince.
Somebody listening might have that name.
They might.
Calm
then
down.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you apologize to Daikon.
Daikon. Okay, so they convince Deacon to go along with their like weird plan of like abduction and keep an eye on this adult man.
Dude, they give
Yeah.
him $20. Of course he's gonna do it.
He's not an
Was
adult
it
man.
$20? It looked
you
like
go.
a couple of
Probably.
crinkled singles.
Dude, it's the
It's the 80s. They gave him $20.
Oh, yeah.
Hitting the
You
table
laugh
there.
$20.
They gave
Okay.
him enough to buy a house nowadays.
Whatever.
probably.
Okay.
You know.
So they go through their time to collect all these other historical figures. Okay. The first one, okay, is not that noticeable. I did have some problems with how ridiculous going back for Billy the Kid was. I thought a lot of that was super over the top. I found there were a couple of weird, like sluggish editing. But
That's something to pick apart, but the time travel, that's fine. It was done well.
We already passed that. Son of a bitch.
Okay,
Okay,
but
the argument's
Let
did
it go.
anybody notice when they got involved in the brawl in the Western times, getting
Yeah.
Billy the Kid, that when the guy was slid across the counter into the wall, that it cut to, I couldn't tell if it was a dummy or if
Oh.
it was a stunt double.
Oh,
Yes,
when he
that
got
looked
thrown?
weird. I loved
It was so strange because I couldn't tell what it was, but you could tell clearly that it was
Well,
not
yeah,
the
of course.
original actor.
I
Yeah.
actually did not catch that.
I did catch that.
I did.
And it's,
But I wasn't
it's
paying
funny.
I wasn't paying that much attention, so I didn't catch
He probably
it.
had like
but-
10 other things
No,
going.
it
Like,
was.
I didn't think it was a big deal
Yeah.
because like then it was easy to do stuff like that with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was pretty funny. I liked it. I was okay with it. The one thing I do like most about this scene, and this is me. This is like, if I was ever in a fight, 100%, this is me. When the guys got up and they're getting ready to like go after Bill and Ted, dude. When Bill was like, "Hold on, I have this written down. I want to make sure I say this right."
The Goodyear blimp.
No, shit, where'd I put it? Son of a bitch. Right here. Okay. When they were getting ready to fight Bill and Ted in this Western scene, I like when Bill gets up, he goes, "Look, we're totally weak. We can't possibly fight you."
I'd be ashamed though to beat someone who can't fight. I'm like, well, this is boring.
Yes.
I mean,
Dude,
a
he
drunk
said
man in
that.
the Old West is not going to give a fuck.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
sure.
100%. But dude, when he said that, I was cracking up. That was so good. Is it just me? Because I feel like there are certain aspects of this movie that drag just slightly. It drags slightly. I
No,
feel like they picked
wait,
up too many
hold
people.
up. The pacing of
Yeah.
this movie. Let me just like real quick. To me, the pacing of this movie, it was like the shortest, longest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I've only seen this movie like once or twice when I was really young, but it felt like the shortest, longest movie I've seen. Like it felt like everything happened so fast, but it took forever to happen so fast. So it's just like, oh, like boom, we're like scene. But then it's just like it takes forever for scene. I'm just like, why does it feel like this movie should have been over, but it's not over yet?
I think
It's
I
a
kind
good
of know.
movie, but it's still it felt like things dragged down without dragging on at the same time.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about because I felt like the movie's pacing was fine. Like it went really smooth and really quick. You were going from one thing to another, but at one point I thought, I was like, man, it's weird because it's moving, but it also felt like it was kind of dragging. It's really weird. I 100% get it.
Like nothing felt like when you watched, like if you're just sitting there actually watching it, nothing really dragged, but it felt like it did.
Right, and I think
it's odd.
I just think they picked up too many people. I think, and you know who they could have done without, honestly? Abe Lincoln. I don't think Lincoln needed.
He was the
He was-
worst.
yeah.
I don't
he
think
was
they needed
the
Lincoln.
worst.
Okay,
It
so
felt like this movie should have ended on like 3 different occasions. It's like, all right, it's coming up. This is the end. And then it's like, oh, there's still like an hour of this movie left.
Yeah.
So it's like,
no, I didn't have that big of issue with the
well,
pacing.
no, it's like, it just felt like at certain points they came to a spot. It's like, if I wasn't looking at how much time was left, I'd be like, all right, they're going to wrap up in like 15 minutes. They're going to do their report.
yeah, I could
Yeah.
see that.
Still have a half hour.
And then a whole new little like problem comes up and they're doing a bunch more random shit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. How about this? How about this? The original cut for this film, 2 hours and 25 minutes.
Oh my God.
Was it?
Yes,
Is
2
that
hours and 25
released
minutes.
somewhere?
I
Do you
don't
have like the
know.
director's cut or something?
I have no idea. I
That
would
version would have got a
love-
1 from me.
I would have loved to have seen it because I read just very little on it, so I can't really share because I'm not 100% on like the facts and stuff. But the original cut was 2 hours and 25 minutes, and of course, obviously for this, it was weeded out significantly. But
It's like one of our episodes.
Yeah, yes. Well, the funny part is this is kind of interesting. I'll share this real quick. But apparently, this movie was supposed to be released in '88, and the original production company, which I think was like DEG or something like that, they had they went bankrupt, and so it was the director Steve Herrick was looking for a different like production company or distribution company or something. And originally, when they were showing this movie to the executives, they're like, do kids really even talk like that? And so like people really weren't interested apparently.
Yeah.
So when they put together a focus group, group from kids from a mall, and they loved it. And so shortly thereafter, when it was put up for auction, people were of course bidding on it. And then I think like Nelson Entertainment or something picked it up. But yeah, so I just thought it was pretty funny, and I'm assuming they must have showed the almost like 2.5 hour cut of this movie to the focus group. I just spat really bad.
Okay. This movie feels like someone who's never been in the 80s. Like, this movie feels like it was from 2015. People have no idea what the 80s was, and they wrote what they thought the 80s could have been. And that's what this movie is.
No, this movie's so
yeah,
good.
because I was wondering that too. I'm like, okay, either people really dressed and acted and talked like this in the 80s, or this is just completely made up.
I don't know. I
And
mean,
I just can't imagine anybody actually existing like this.
I don't know, man.
In humanity.
I mean, I obviously didn't experience the 80s like that, but like I think that was honestly kind of the 80s.
It just felt like a kids movie to me, though.
Yeah,
Not
well,
gonna
I mean, it
lie.
is PG. It's not like it's.
Well,
kind of a
I
weird-
mean, it's like an educational kids movie. It felt like.
I think it was. I think the PG kind of probably stemmed from like the sexual innuendos and jokes and stuff. I'm assuming
it's just from the one shit.
from the one shit.
shit.
Napoleon.
Oh yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? But no, okay. I'm sorry. This movie, I don't know. I don't have too many problems with it. I'm bitching and griping about a lot. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know. Even the poor graphics. I mean,
Oh,
it is.
man.
No,
Yeah.
they make it work.
when they showed the clouds in the sky, I'm
I
like,
gave it a complete pass on anything CG.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, no!
you
but
have to.
It's so corny. It's so cheesy. It's so 80s. It's of its time, but they make it work. I think it holds up. I think it holds up, man. I'm sorry.
It does feel like a fake take on the 80s almost. Like it's so over the top.
Yeah.
maybe
It's like
and
it-
that's why I think the effects work.
You broke my.
maybe just 'cause
It
we weren't
reminds me
alive.
of, it reminds me of Biodome in a sense.
Oh,
Because it was such an extreme take on the
Fuck
90s.
you. No.
Hear me out. That's such an extreme take on the 90s with all the characters acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Okay. I
This kind of
recant
falls
that.
into that same. Yeah,
like-
fuck you.
It's like I forgive you. He's like, no, you're booked.
Oh man. Okay.
You for being a dick.
I just was thinking, like, this is like a prequel to Wayne's World.
Yes.
These guys grew up, and then sometime in the 90s, they started a TV show, you know? It's
Remember
like,
Wild
Right.
Stallions? To
Well,
Wayne's World?
it's
like the same thing.
it's kind of thought that this actually was
Which came first?
what am I trying? What's the word?
Inspiration.
Thank you for like stuff like Dumb and Dumber, Wayne's World, and stuff that
Yeah, 'cause this was-
followed
this was
thereafter.
Wayne's World.
At this point, they got Billy the Kid, they got Socrates, and I have a question about this scene where they go back to this like medieval era, and they don't get anybody because they kind of find themselves in hot water, right? They hit because they're hitting on the princess babes, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
my God.
Wait, oh my God, this joke is hilarious, but I want to ask a question about it because it almost doesn't go along with the rest of the movie. When Ted falls down the steps and he lands, and then of course he's stabbed, and then Bill in a fit of rage goes down there and he gets pinned against the wall, and he's like, he's gonna be next, like he's like on the verge of being stabbed. And then Ted comes up from behind and knocks the guy
bones
out.
him.
I have a question about this. This joke's hilarious because he's like, whoa, he's like shocked that he's still alive. And he goes, yeah, when I hit the ground, I fell out of my suit. And
Wow.
I was laughing because I thought that was stupidly funny, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering, that joke doesn't really fit the rest of the movie. Now, do you think that the writers were kind of
That's
at an
your problem
impasse? Yes. No, it's not a problem. The joke is hilarious. I was cracking up, but it didn't fit the rest of the movie. So I was wondering if maybe the writers were at an impasse and were just like, we'll make it a joke. I mean,
I think they felt that for the entire movie.
maybe.
That's what I feel,
I just-
because every situation kind of had that, well, we'll just make some nonsense and they're fine.
Am I the only one who was also annoyed that the sword went through that armor like it was fucking paper mache? Because it
Yeah.
probably was.
It
Hot
did,
knife
yes.
through butter.
I kind of,
It was made out of foil.
Yeah.
I kind of thought the same thing.
paper
but
armor.
I let it pass. I actually, when it comes to comedies, especially of this caliber, you can let a
Well,
lot
yeah.
of shit pass.
No, I know. I that's what I was saying about the time travel thing and everything. It's like, well, it's a comedy, so it's fine.
Okay, so it kind of quickly, they do grab like Joan of Arc, Genghis Khan.
Genghis
Khan. Oh my God. They
Donkey Kong's there.
yes,
yeah.
they very quickly and very rapidly pick up Joan of Arc, Genghis Khan, and Abe Lincoln. And at first I'm like, how are they all going to fit in the booth? But then they show them
Just
riding in
real
the
quick.
booth.
Yeah.
I like how they got Genghis Khan in the boat.
Oh, with the Twinkie? So good.
Come here, Mr. Khan. Come on.
So good. But like, and then thereafter they all fit in the other way anyway, which I'm like, again, it's a comedy. I'm gonna let that pass, but it's ridiculous. But I have a question, and I don't know if anybody here is gonna know. The scene where they got Joan of Arc, and she left her helmet and like her sword and what's that other thing?
Her armor.
Yeah,
Her
but
chest plate.
whatever
Chest
it
plate?
was. She left it there,
Pauldrons?
and they like kind of like held and zoomed. Was that like some sort of like historical significance?
What?
I'm not really sure.
Oh, well,
I don't
I had
know
no
a
idea.
lot.
She
What do you
burned
mean?
at the stake, so I don't think that had anything to do with how she disappeared. Or
Oh, okay.
anything.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I didn't know. So but the way that they held on it, I thought like, oh, this is why this happened in history. I thought it was like a tie into something, but I didn't know because I don't fucking know history.
I
So-
have wholeheartedly know her history.
But yeah, so I just thought maybe if one of you guys knew, you could clear it up for me because you guys are
Not
good at that
enough.
usually. But yeah,
Sometimes.
whatever, man.
I don't.
As if we
think
feel
it had
like
anything
delving deep
significant.
into it.
Okay. So I really don't like this part of the movie. It's the same feel as the beginning of the movie, and I didn't like that neither. But like they're having issues with the booth, and this is after they had made some sort of escape or getaway, and they end up finding themselves in the future. That scene was so corny, man.
Yeah, it was.
So corny.
That was one of the 2 times I'm like, I almost don't want to finish this.
No,
That scene was corny? Just
Yes.
the scene?
Dude, okay, first of all,
I actually liked the dudes with the big 80s suits and the big 80s sunglasses and those weird flat top things everybody
Yes.
had. I was like, this is pretty
So
cool.
good.
That's what they
This
thought the
is pretty
future
cool.
would be like.
yes. Well, and that's like the utopian future. That's when like everybody in the galaxy apparently is like harmonious and one, you know? And it all started with these
Yeah.
guys.
Stay excellent.
Yes, party on, dude.
Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, the guitar.
I hated that. I hated that so
Be
much.
excellent to each other. There we go.
Yes, it's so stupid.
No, but it kind of makes sense, though. It kind of makes sense when you look in history, all the weird things people
Oh,
do
yeah.
for various religions
Yeah.
that
Yep.
somebody did once, people keep carrying it on.
Yeah. And then it loses that kind of silliness. It
It loses its meaning, and people are just doing it because, well, this is what people have been doing.
Yeah.
This is what you do.
No, it's so good. I mean, it's corny as shit. Here's the thing, like, I like 80s, and this is like 80s turned up to an 11 in the scene.
That's why it feels so fake to me because it's so like intensely 80s that
Yes.
it's just
Oh, I don't know,
it's
man.
too much.
It's-
It's not too much. Like the movie isn't
You
bad.
just exemplify
but
everything.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but I don't know if it's too
not
much.
the word.
I don't know, man.
Is
It
it?
takes a
No.
lot to be too much when it comes to 80s. But anyway, okay. Let's move on because they leave here and they're having issues with the booth. Meanwhile, by the way, at this point, Napoleon's like living it up, man. He is like loving the modern day. Ice
Dude,
cream is
eat
like
the
his
shit out of
thing.
some ice cream.
Yeah, he does. My kind of guy.
God, it got pretty gross. Like there's like ice cream off the table and he's just like, I'm going for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like he's like fighting the girl with the spoons to get the last bite, and he's like eating up off the table. But you know what? That's not that gross. I mean, I wouldn't do that for sure.
Oh
But-
yeah. Totally. He wouldn't do that. Trust me, he wouldn't do it.
But let me tell you this though. I'll tell you what is gross. Okay, the scene coming up when they find themselves like 1,000,000 years BC. Right?
Yeah.
And they have to repair the antenna.
Oh, okay.
And they're collecting the gum, and it's going through like all the historical
Gum
figures.
and the cans from the canned
And
food.
it gets the Ted, and he's just like, puts the gum on that. I'm like, oh my god! Oh, I cringed so hard.
That's so fucking gross.
So
I
gross.
got so hard.
And I can only imagine he must have legitly did that because it doesn't look like there's any cuts or.
That's when people don't give a fuck. That was during the time where you don't give a fuck
Oh,
about
man.
germs.
This is where, because they're trying to get back to present day, and they find themselves, what is that, a day short, right? Because this is where the tie back comes in. I like the tie back even more because I watched this movie twice. And the first time I watched it, I'm like, wait a minute, that means all these people were in the booth when this happened. And I don't recall seeing anybody in the booth.
It looked like 2 people were in the booth.
Well, yeah, I don't think you're not going to fit all of them in there.
No, I mean like they stepped out and it looked like 2 people were behind them, so they had people jammed in
Yes,
there.
they did. Yes, and I was so happy about that.
I didn't
I'm like,
pay attention to the beginning like
attention
that.
to detail is so good because when I rewatched it, I made sure to look, and yeah, you could see them in there if you really look. They're there, and they did it pretty good. They played the whole twin thing really safe, or they did like this side and this side, but they mixed it up by switching who stood where. And then they did the over-the-shoulder thing, so they blended it well, and I think they did okay.
No,
it wasn't super
It was
corny.
believable.
Okay, the scene where they're coming back to present time, and Missy is watering like a bush or something,
And she's looking fine. Got like that camel toe going on,
Oh my
which they
God.
like zoom in
Yes.
on. Which I'm like, I'm cool.
They
with this.
they really went with the money shot on that one.
Yeah.
But okay, so they show up, and I like how they're like, oh. Mom, and he's trying to play these guys off like they're their friends. The
Give 'em
names,
some
The names were good.
oh
yeah.
my god, the names were hilarious. Like at
Bob.
first, it was okay. I'm gonna say them all off, but there's one that I just lost it to. Okay, so there's Dave Beth Oven or
Beat Oven.
Beat Oven, however they
Oven.
pronounce it. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Then there's Maxine of Arc. Okay, Herman the Kid,
I like that
Bob
one.
Genghis Khan, and dude. When he got to Socrates Johnson, I lost it. I'm like, oh my God, this is so stupid. And the funny part is, I didn't catch this scene the first time I watched it.
I was just gonna say I didn't hear that last name. Like, I got Bob Genghis Khan.
Yeah. Okay. And then of course there was Dennis Frood, and then you sit there and Ted's like, and Abraham Lincoln. He just gave up.
So on this scene, I thought
The last one was just legit. Just Abraham
it's so
Lincoln.
good.
Fuck it.
when they started saying names, I was like, do they just not actually know who they are? I didn't realize, like, because I thought they were just being dumb and not knowing their real names. And I realized, why do they need to say fake names?
Oh
Because,
man.
No one's gonna believe that they're who
Yeah.
they actually
yeah,
are.
it's like they don't need an alter ego or some kind of disguise
Well, I
to
mean,
get past his mom.
They don't already even know the names. They're calling Socrates Socrates.
Yeah.
Beat of it anyway.
okay,
You're
but,
like,
but
what the
they're,
fuck?
they're stupid teenagers.
Yeah.
So of course they think that they're going to be in trouble and all this stuff. So they're trying to hide it. You know, that's what they do. That's what they do in these
they're
movies. You
just,
know.
Yes.
Yes.
Classmate mom.
Now, okay. So
She at least graduated.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
She seems pretty
She's cute,
intelligent.
though.
What the hell did the dad have, man? What's she after that?
What?
So weird.
A dick?
I
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. I thought it was funny. Obviously, it's done for comedic reasons and whatever. It's just to bring that edge. But it was just kind of funny. I'm like, man, I was like, I don't know. He didn't seem
Is
rich
it
or anything.
implied that his dad was a teacher?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, then this is making sense.
Yeah,
They
that
were
makes a lot of
fooling around
sense.
at school, and then she
Also-
graduates, and then they get, hooked
The-
up.
I mean, she was totally after the history teacher too.
Yes, when she's like
Ah.
kind of like, "Oh, nice to see you again" or something.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was getting fresh with him. I thought she was just like,
Really?
I thought it was no, no. I thought it was more of like,
It is
I
right.
remember what we had going on. I thought she was just one of the flings in the past and kind of like, I don't think she was gonna go with him. I just thought it was like,
She's
haha,
just
I remember
dumb. She
you.
just wanted good
you know.
grades.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess
Hey,
actually
yeah.
we know how she graduated.
Yeah, there you go. We got a couple scenes that are kind of mixed together coming up here. We have the mall scene where he sets them all down with their little ices and shit, and they got to go try and find Napoleon, who is living it up on the water slides. He loves these water slides, and there are some things I feel like throughout this movie that I don't think you do much in movies today. If that makes sense.
Oh, you mean like how they threw in at least 2 music montages? Which I feel like every 80s movie has to have a montage.
Yes,
of
yes.
just random shit going on.
Montages are 80s essential. But no, I don't know, like, maybe I'm like overthinking this, I guess, but like,
You overthink a lot of things.
like, yeah, that's true. But like how like with the kids, how like pull them back or grab them and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe people still do that. I don't see shit like that in movies anymore.
What?
I think people in movies,
But how
especially,
Napoleon was
Fuck you,
just
kitty, get out of the
manhandling
way.
all the children at the park.
yes,
And he picked one and carried it up.
yeah. I just feel like
People
sat there
aren't
and
allowed to
dadded.
touch each other anymore.
yes. Well, that's the
No,
thing.
social
This is man.
distancing.
Movies are gonna get shitty pretty soon here.
Yeah, because
man.
you're going
If
to watch
not
a movie
already.
and every actor is always going to stay constantly 6 feet apart. I'm just
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
What the fuck
Oh,
is going
man.
on
It's like,
here?
what the fuck? They left the house. That's not believable at all.
Yeah, but while they're of course
They went shopping.
How are they interacting physically? This isn't
Yes.
Zoom.
Fuck, they just have a
Yes.
mask.
no, but while they're out getting Napoleon, these guys are creating some shenanigans in the mall, and this is the only scene that I remember. And all I can figure is maybe at some point in my life I kind of came across this movie on cable or something.
The mall scene was the stupidest shit, man.
Yeah, I
It just
think
didn't make any. I mean,
No, it
the
was-
movie didn't
it's
make any
like-
sense, but this definitely didn't make
It
any
was
sense.
like, hey, take a weird stereotype of each person,
Yes.
and make a little skit for them out of it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
also
It was bad.
have it make no sense.
it was
also,
just kind of a
because-
way to kind of progress the plot, get them locked up, but also kind of have them run amok and do something because of who they are. You had Genghis Khan in the sporting goods
mad.
store.
Yeah,
I'm
beat the
mad.
shit out of mannequin.
Yes.
That Beat Oven got arrested.
Yeah, I don't understand
Why
why
did
was
he get arrested? He was just playing music for people.
I have
Trust
that written
me,
down, too.
I
It
spent a
makes no
lot of time
sense.
in music stores. They will not arrest your ass for fucking with every instrument in the store.
Yeah,
If you're just
I
sitting
don't
there
know.
playing music, they're more than likely, at least those that I've been to, there's rooms where you can just go in and play if you want to. If you want to
I've
play for
literally-
people, you just play.
Seen a 5-year-old come in, pick up some drumsticks, and just attack drum sets, and the employee just didn't even bat an eye. He just looked over, and goes, like,
Okay.
didn't give 2 shits.
But these are your typical like minimum wage employees. That guy
Yeah,
was clearly a manager.
But he's not even
No.
doing anything wrong. He's literally just playing the instrument really fucking well. And
He is
people are enjoying
wailing
it.
on all these synthesizers,
Oh, and I
which just
wanna-
can't take it.
I want to point out how all of a sudden Beethoven just become an idiot. He became more of an idiot. Like Mike is saying.
Wait, how so?
So he's known for this beautiful classical music.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden he's playing like some shitty 80s synth pop. Like, why?
I'm also a little upset.
All of a sudden he just forgot all of his skills and is like, fuck it.
What
Synthesizer.
also bugs me though, it's like Beethoven was deaf. So when he hit that thing and it was playing whatever the fuck it was playing, it's like he didn't play based off of sound. He felt the tones.
No,
So,
I looked this up because I was
Didn't
confused about that. He went deaf in later years in life,
Oh.
and he wrote some of his most popular music while he was going deaf. He was never fully deaf.
History with Mike. All right.
I was like, well, because I thought the same thing. It's like they're talking to this guy and he's responding to them. I thought he was deaf.
Yeah.
well,
I had
you
to look it
know,
up.
That's some clarifications.
Nice.
Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing, but also I was really disappointed that they had such a huge missed opportunity. So much of his music is the preset on pianos. That it would have been like, hey, check this out, and click the preset, and some of his own fucking music plays. How good would that have been? I was so mad when this shitty, like, horrible MIDI beat started playing. And I'm like,
That would
no,
have been
fuck
hilarious.
that.
Although I have to say, the fact that he's playing like some 80s stuff, if you kind of perceived this that way, I mean, it still works because it's just silly fun.
Yeah.
But I took it, there was a music montage, but it didn't really come across to me anyway that what we were hearing was what he was playing.
Oh,
When they get arrested, obviously Bill and Ted find Napoleon, and they're going to go to the jail where, by the way, if this wasn't already addressed, Ted's father works. Okay, he's a sheriff, I assume. And this jailbreak is the best.
Hated it.
No, the best.
Hated it.
They did
Every
in this
part of the scene was like,
No.
it was creative but weird at the same time.
They did the one thing I wish they would have done in a lot of other movies where they just tell themselves, you got to make sure you do this. And it's there because like you said before, where none of this would make sense. There's no reason in what we're seeing just as a storyteller standpoint to show all this shit because you already know what's happening.
I really like that.
But the fact that they're like, okay, I just got to remember to do it. And they're like, well, it was there. So you obviously remembered to put the keys there. I loved that. That was so good.
no, it is really creative,
shit, like you said.
but it just doesn't work.
Also, the one of them
doesn't.
was so fucking stupid. I hated it. It ruined the whole little heist they pulled for me.
Can I guess?
You know what one it is.
Is it the garbage can?
Yes.
Oh.
And they're like, hey, remember a garbage can? And then a fucking garbage can disappears on his head. It's like, no. What the fuck?
Yeah, because like
Yeah,
what made it fall? Why was it there?
Yeah,
I get
why
it.
was it there?
Yeah,
What-
that
No
was a
one
little
put it on
weird.
his head, all of a sudden it's just like boom there.
yeah. It's like, remember garbage can? He's all of a sudden
Yeah.
half man, half garbage
But
can.
I mean, technically, because of time travel, everything would just have been instantly done, and they never would have ever gotten caught. Like even when the dad walks in the first place,
But
they
there
could
was
have
no
just said like,
trash can
"Oh,
in there,
just
though."
remember that he walks in at this time and do it differently."
Yeah.
And they would have had an infinite number of times
Yes.
to get it right, and so nothing would have ever happened. It would have been absolutely perfect.
or they
except
could have
it
just
wouldn't have
gone back in time to like when they had all the motherfuckers at the table in the mall and been like, hey,
Yeah,
come with
see?
us to this point and hang out
Yeah.
at our house. Don't get in trouble.
Again, this is what makes it so difficult to follow this shit is they made it seem like there is one timeline that is laying the foundation, which is why they could only go so far forward. I'm assuming, at least that's how I looked at it, because that's why they're like, oh, we only have 10 hours. I'm thinking, you're in a time machine. You can go to wherever you want. It's
I mean,
hard.
bro,
The way that time machine works is that from whatever point you leave, or from whatever point you leave with it,
Right.
that time's still going.
Right. Yes.
So, if
no
they go
matter
back,
where they go, the time in San Dimas, time's still going there, as if it was normal.
so what you're saying is, if they went to the medieval times for a half hour, they need to go back to a half hour after they left in San Dimas.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
why
yeah,
it was so important that
he had his watch.
he had to set his watch
Yeah.
so they know what time it was actually in their time.
That's kind of how I interpreted it as well, but I wasn't sure if that's what everyone else was thinking.
But
But
you know,
Nope.
they could have just the future them that had all the guys together could have just given it to them when they showed up to tell them all the information that they needed
Right.
to know. Could have just said, "Hey, I'll just save you the time," and just give you these guys right here,
right,
and you're
but
done.
You're also saying that all the previous stuff already happened, and they're cutting out the middleman. That's just poor storytelling. They're just telling us the whole story.
That means they would have had, if they dropped all the people off there, like, hey, hold on to these guys. I mean, they had to watch those motherfuckers for like, what, 10 hours?
I completely agree that it is poor storytelling. I agree with you 100%.
Okay, you're twisting my words.
No, that's what you just said.
I love the way this was written. I'm sorry. That's one thing I love about this movie.
It's just a bunch of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey bullshit.
Well, okay, first of all, that is every fucking time movie. I'm sorry, but this one's. I just think this one did it well. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I have to say this. Did you guys notice
for Russell? No, it's not.
When they did the jailbreak, there's something I didn't catch the first time that I caught the second time.
That everything's made out of wood.
Well, that too. It's a sad. Come on.
Did you notice all the bars and the jail cell? They were all wood. You could see the wood grain through the paint on some of it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I did not catch that.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I will.
It's made out of wood.
Okay, first of all,
Metal wood.
I'm going to chalk that up to time and technology because you got to remember at the time you were watching this in standard definition. That shit probably did not
TVs
stand out.
would have been blurrier and the
Yeah.
colors would
I
have
was
been
going to say,
off.
yes, medieval times before they could truly work metal.
Much, much more forgiving.
The
But no,
80s.
what I'm saying is when they were letting all these their historical figures out, there's like all these other people escaping with them. I didn't catch that. There's like a bunch of like these women and a couple
I
other
didn't see
people,
that.
and I was like, that's pretty funny.
All these
they're just
criminals get to go free.
They're just letting out all these criminals and shit.
I
Like,
did
that's
not
good.
catch that at all.
Yeah, well, because on my second watch through, I'm like seeing heads and like hairstyles and shit. I'm like, what? And then when it's showing them lining up to get out the window, there's just some random people.
Also, Bill and Ted would be in prison.
yeah.
Not only did they let people out, later at the school, like Billy the kid
Yeah.
brings out a gun at school. This was before bringing guns to school was bad.
Yeah.
This was funny back in the 80s. They're like, look
Yes.
at guns in school and he's shooting it around and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got the kids to shut
Actually,
the fuck
guns
up, though.
everywhere. Billy fired his gun in almost every scene he was
Yeah.
in. Like, oh, they're being chased by mall security. Let's shoot in the air because, that's not going to get
Oh,
killed by
he
the police.
did, didn't he?
Yeah.
I forgot
Like-
about that.
But I mean, it makes sense because early America was a lot like now. Everybody just like shooting guns all the time.
When they did the school presentation and Billy Kid's getting everybody's like attention, he shoots the gun. I'm like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
But I'm like, everybody's just like, it's the 80s. He just wants our
No,
attention.
like Columbine hasn't happened yet. That's in the
Yes.
90s.
I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy. And honestly, the whole presentation. Okay, first of all, the presentation thing is it's just a scene. It's just closure
Yeah.
to everything we've already seen. But I do like, which brings the whole Missy mom thing kind of to its final joke. When Ted was on the couch and Freud is doing his thing, and he's like telling him like all his problems come from like his dad and all this stuff in whatever,
Yeah.
and then he looks at Bill when he's done and he's like, "Would you like to try?"
Yeah, I was
No.
trying to. I knew what he was trying to say,
Yes.
but I couldn't hear what he was saying.
Yes,
I couldn't hear the term.
He goes, "No thanks, dude. I just have an Oedipus complex," and I'm like, "Oh
Okay.
my god!" It's like that is so good.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I didn't know what it was
does that
called.
mean?
That's when you're attracted to your opposite sex parent. So he has a thing for his mom. Which
See, that's
is
what
that
I
really
assumed that
Oedipus?
was a-
It's a stepmom. Does that really count?
Well, I mean, not,
Probably.
not really. It counts legally, like in
She
words.
was one
yeah.
say fellow
Words.
student.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But when he said that, I was cracking up, and I was like, so good. The whole thing finishes up with Abe Lincoln doing his 7 minutes ago. This place rocks or some bullshit like that, and they disappear.
Awful.
Yeah. Honestly, Abe Lincoln,
Abe Lincoln fucking sucks.
like
And yeah,
the actor. Fine, he looks like Abe Lincoln, but we didn't need him. We did
the
not need
big
Abe Lincoln.
fake like mole on his face.
It made
was
me
so
think of
awful
Bill
looking.
Cranston.
yeah.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
bad.
Wait.
Or did I say this?
I know this is like the whole.
No, hold on. Bryan Cranston.
Bryan
Bryan Cranston.
Cranston,
Yes,
sorry.
I kind of thought the same thing.
I know this is like the whole big finale of the movie, but it was so cringy that I was like, I paused and I was like, I'll come back to this in a few minutes. Like, I
Oh,
just need to
no,
get away
man.
from this for a few seconds. This is bad.
That music. Actually, the music kind of reminded me of like Breakfast Club almost. Like do 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 do.
I even noted how terrible the music was in this movie. This music was absolutely awful. Every single song, every single part. The only music I liked was the tiny little 1 second.
because
I thought that was hilarious.
No, so good. It's so good. You're not seeing it for what it is.
Oh, I saw
Okay.
it for exactly what it was.
So, okay, their whole presentation comes to an end when they all pile back up the phone booth and then disappear, and the crowd goes wild. Okay, so then we get to the end of the movie where I mean, it's just them practicing in the garage and like, we got to take this seriously. We need to start practicing and doing this stuff. And then Rufus shows up. He brings
He brings the bitches.
Yes, he brings guitars. He brings the princess babes.
I was
Yeah,
so
the babe.
disappointed with this because when they first see them, and Ted's like, "I'm in love, dude." Like the absolute second he sees them.
Yes.
And they're looking beautiful. They got all this fancy stuff on, and they're like, "Look we modernized ourselves," and it's like,
yeah.
you just went from
what?
super hot to like garbage, trash.
I guess
hot garbage.
this
Yeah.
might be a little bit maybe paraphrasing, but I love when Bill sees him. He's like, "Whoa, savory clothes!"
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "Oh my god, anybody really
It's
talk
a
like
little
that?"
weird.
No, it's great. I want to start using that. But no, so okay. And then I had no idea George Carlin could play a guitar like that.
He couldn't.
I know. I'm fucking kidding. That's why.
Can't. Actually, why I was curious about that, so I looked up who played it.
You straight faced that like.
well, I mean, they show him playing guitar from
I know,
here up, and he's like,
yeah.
And then they show his
I was
hand.
curious because it was actually played right, so I was curious who
Yeah.
played it.
Oh, okay. Who?
I forgot his name already.
Oh.
But
Oh, just
he
as a random guy?
He did all the music for the entire movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
nice.
like,
"Sorry, guy, but your music was trash."
No.
Sorry, it's
yeah.
fine. It was probably great in the '80s. You know,
Yeah,
you had to be there.
I mean, like
George
he didn't do
Carlin's
the actual
comedian, not a
songs. Those
musician.
are real songs. A lot of them were.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like all the actual like just little music bits and everything was done by him.
Nice.
So I guess that was his
good.
little cameo was to come on and play that part. So I
But-
thought that was cool. That's why I was like, no.
Yeah, it just kind of comes to an end though when they all try to jam and it sounds
Like,
really
I
god
actually
awful.
liked that joke.
They
a
get
lot.
better.
Oh yeah,
I promise.
but and that's it. That's the whole movie. That's it. Anybody else want to add anything? Because I am so excited about this. You have no idea.
No, I mean I got nothing else.
I just want to comment on how savory Mike's outfit is. Today.
It is pretty savory. Oh, I
So-
dropped something.
I want to point out I've discovered, and we need to pick more 80s movies to see. Pat will defend any 80s movie.
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how bad.
Well, I think it's because he's just closer to
you
that
are
time than
being
us.
called
So
out
he
so
gets
bad.
it.
That could be.
He gets the
That could be.
vibe. You know, he
Right.
understands it slightly more.
As the senior crew member, yes, that could be. All right.
Thanks for calling yourself old. We don't have to do it now.
It's time to go into final thoughts and ratings, and let's mix this up because if you don't know how
God,
we're doing
not me
things now,
Yeah,
they're
because Patrick changed it this season.
oh yeah, I love it, dude. I have so much fun with this. This is so good. Their ratings are already locked in, and I'm gonna reveal their ratings randomly, and they
But my
have to
rating could have
explain it.
changed.
I give it a 69.
Gotta explain.
Dude.
Here's the thing: like, if it legitly, like, 100% changed, not only does it change, it's fine, I guess, but you gotta explain it, man. You gotta defend it. Here we go. First one up.
Not me.
Oh, it's No Name.
Fuck, it's me.
All right, No Name. Let's see what you give this. Oh, you give it a 4, Mike. Mike, why did you give it a 4?
I hate the 80s.
Oh man,
That is,
Yeah.
that is the best way
I am
to rate
heartbroken.
that.
I am heartbroken, man.
I guess, like, I hate the extreme 80s stereotypes.
Oh,
like,
man. Yeah.
they're just so cheesy and hard to watch that it brings the movie down a little bit for me. It was a funny movie. It was good. It was just, I feel like I've been giving every movie such a bad rating lately.
I think you're
Good
not
movies.
gonna go.
We gotta pick some good movies.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
like Mike's like, I'm rating
Honestly-
bad, but
honestly,
I'll
though-
rate this a 4, so I don't give it a 2.
Oh man, so good.
The movie was good enough to where I want to see the rest of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't that great of a movie.
It was not that
man.
great of a
Oh.
movie.
All right. Next up. Oh, it's me. Oh man, I was kind of hoping I was last, honestly.
No, you can't go last all the time.
All right, guys, you ready for this?
Fucking 69 coming up.
Bam!
I can't.
It's a 9.
What?
I'm giving
Holy
this movie.
fuck!
This movie's getting a 9. I
a
had
9.
Oh my god, I had such a fun time watching this movie. You have no idea. I was so worried. I was so worried about their like surfer bro lingo and stuff, but like they didn't use typical like surfer like vocabulary, like which I think like the dichotomy of the words versus like how they were talking is what made it really funny, and I got behind it.
Dude, your rating is most
dude,
excellent.
Patrick
Thank you.
using big words over here.
loved this movie. And there was, I kind of brought it down because obviously I thought there was a slight edit things and there were a few scenes I thought were like super over the top corny. But I apparently I've never seen this before. And this is like an 80s staple, man. This is so
shock.
funny. The movie's so funny.
This is the highest. This is the highest rating I think a movie's ever gotten, except for. No, 𝗥𝗘𝗩𝗜𝗘𝗪 also got a high rating like this.
I
Wait,
give it a 9.
yeah,
But I think this is
not for me.
Yeah, I think this is Patrick's highest rating.
Yeah, oh my God.
I'm just saying, like,
So overall,
this is only the second 9 we've ever had.
I sat down to watch this. I was going to watch it one time because I did not plan on watching it twice. And I was getting ready to take notes. And after the first 10 minutes, I put my shit down because I just wanted to watch this movie. This is a great popcorn movie. This
Holy
is so
shit.
fun.
He just wanted to watch
This
it.
is such a fun movie. So I watched it twice to take my notes and stuff. And apparently I've never seen it before. This is so good. I'm sorry, Russell. This is so good.
We have 2 extremes here so far on the rating.
So good.
I
Okay.
cannot wait to hear your guys' ratings.
All right. We're going to Steve Isaiah.
Steve.
He wrote Steve. He gave it a 6. Why did you give it a 6, Steve?
Because like I said, the biggest thing that drawback for me was like it felt long without it actually being long. So it's like it felt like it was it literally felt like it was longer than an hour and a half movie. I know it wasn't, but it felt like it, and it irritated the shit out of me.
All right.
But it was a good movie. I liked it. Overall, I liked it. I'd watch it again. I'd watch it with people. If someone said, "Hey, you want to throw this movie on?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's put it on. Let's go."
All right. You know what? I was kind of hoping that I was last, but with everything going on right now, I am ecstatic. You are last. Russell, you gave this movie a 4.
A 4.
Okay. All right.
I have to say, I completely disagree with everything that you have said about this movie, Patrick. Every single point I disagree with, and I could just, we could just talk about it forever.
Yes.
And go back and forth.
I'm sure we could. We have our moments. Dude, this movie is just a fun ride, man,
This
from
movie
start
would
to
be
finish.
an argument for you too for a while.
Oh, so
Yeah,
good.
I don't disagree that this movie's fun,
It's
but it's not good.
No, man. And I can obviously see how, like I say, I don't know how I've never seen this, apparently the whole thing before in its entirety, but it's like, this really is like an 80s staple. It is a cult classic. It has 2 iconic characters. And at first I was like, man, people are going to tear me apart because I'm going to hate this movie. I'm going to hate this movie. And I did. I
And
loved
you
it,
did.
man. I love this movie. This movie is so
Well,
good.
we found Patrick's 9.
I went in expecting to like this movie a lot, and I'm surprised, to be honest. I was not happy with it.
That's our show for this week. Be sure to join us next Wednesday for a whole new episode. Until then, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at RewGuysPod. That's RewGuysPod. Or email us at RewGuysPod@gmail.com and let us know what you think about this movie or any movie we've talked about on the show. And who knows, we might even bring it up on the show. So until next week, be excellent to each other. Oh, man.
Actually, that was a great ending. You know what? I feel like that is a good way to do an outro.
I just don't like the 80s, I've realized.
I think you're bi.
Oh, he's a biist.
Bi
I
curious.
don't know if that's supposed to mean.
By
but
curious.
And, kind of like a botanist. He's a biist. He studies all things bi. Why is there a hum?
Like binary.